School. Almost everyone has spent around 10 to 14 years of their lives learning. Most students spend around 9 to 12 hours at their school, and to make it through the day, students have to eat. Needless to say that food and school go hand in hand, and the way school food is served has changed drastically over the years. Up until the 1960s, school lunches weren't widely used. Most kids would just go home during the school day and have their mothers whip them up something in the kitchen. To help feed poor children who could not be fed at home, small kitchens started popping up in schools, most not bigger than the ones found in a typical household, and due to the shortage of staff, older students assisted the chefs with the chores. This was a time before commercialization took over the system. In 1946, the Child Nutrition Act was enacted by Congress to support school lunches. The act created the National School Lunch Program, or the NSLP, a program to provide low-cost or free school lunch meals to qualified students through subsidies of the school. The program was established as a way to prop up food prices by absorbing farm surpluses, while at the same time providing food to school-aged children. Later on in the 60s, schools had kitchens with lunch ladies cooking all day until lunch. Older students would help the lunch ladies. Food quality varied by state, city, and district, which may have led to some students choosing to opt out and brown bag it, which means bringing lunch from home in a container. The idea of eating school food from home spawned the invention of the lunchbox, which was a metal container or plastic, depending on the variety, used to house your food until you were ready to eat it. Although these were a popular option, many still decided to eat at school. But since schools were starting to grow in size and enrollment in the 1970s and 1980s, the schools could not afford to home cook their meals. The government was supplying schools with food that was only required to be heated up or kept refrigerated. For example, tater tots, french fries, and burritos were served daily. Schools also turned to outside vendors to provide meals and additional income. Pizza companies led the way, and soft drink companies followed. By the 1990s, fizzy, sugary drinks like Coke and Pepsi had replaced milk as the number one drink, and pizza was the favorite meal. This is what many believe to be the source of the growing child obesity problem, thus leading to schools banning the selling of soda and candy, though most buy some from students anyways. Anyways, in the last decade, the government and schools have been more conscious about the food schools serve. The current nutrition standards being used by the National School Lunch Program and National School Breakfast Program were established in 1995. Although the government now regulates school food, this doesn't necessarily ensure the food is good. On UrbanDictionary.com, a website where users give their own definitions to words and terms, one user put this as their definition of school food. Very poor quality food, most meat, hamburgers, ribs, beef, meatloaf, is made out of 70% rubber and 30% meat. Another stated that school food is the worst food you could ever eat. To improve the quality of food, I propose that schools start actually cooking their food, and if that isn't an option, the government should instead provide better food, not just easily microwaved garbage that saves a few dollars, but inevitably hurts the children.